Okay, welcome everybody. Let's talk about how do I use my Getis indicators, which I don't have all of them here, but we're going to talk about this. So especially for the members or anybody that wants to become a member, how do I use my own indicators? Some of these are, well, one of these on here is my own custom indicator. I have some others, but I'm not going to show them in this video because I'm just going to keep things simple. So how do I go about placing my trades on this is the S&P 500. We're looking at the futures here. And this is specifically the 5-minute chart. We're just going to deal with short intraday type 5-minute chart trading, okay? So how would I go about using my indicators to make trades and be profitable? So especially for members, anybody, like I said, who wants to become a member, you want to pay real close attention to this video because I've had several members ask me, well, how do I know which direction and things like that? So let's dive into this, okay? So I have a 5-minute chart here. It's 30 days, which means I've gone back quite a ways here. This is sometime back in June. Let's see, where's this one at? Yeah, this one's way back on May 8th of 2023. So it doesn't really matter. We're just arbitrarily going to pick some different places on the 5-minute chart. So here's the Getis Plus indicator, okay? And this is an indicator that I created. And basically, for now, we're going to ignore the little green triangle and the big orange triangle. We're just going to focus on this yellow triangle, okay? So this is telling us that there's a possibility for a trade that's going to happen, or an opportunity for a trade that's going to happen pretty soon. That's what this really means, okay? So it's telling us there's a possibility, a decent probability that there's going to be an upcoming trade. Now it's up to us as traders to figure out when to actually place that trade. When this indicator happens here on the chart, which by the way also the members get alerted on the Discord server, and I'll talk about that at the end of the video. But it's up to the trader to determine when the best entry is, right? This isn't telling you, I don't necessarily use this Getis Plus indicator right here to say, oh, I'm going to enter right now, okay? But it does alert me and tells me there's a possible trade coming up, and then I start paying attention, okay? So how would I, in this particular case, is there even a tradable, something tradable coming up here after this indicator comes in? All right, so let's take a look at this. So we can see that this happened right here on this candlestick, okay, just before the big decline. Happened right here. Now there's a couple things that stand out. First of all, I can see that exactly when this takes place, the stochastic, this is called the stochastic momentum index. I just refactored it code-wise. I'm a software developer. Well, I used to be, I still do sometimes, but this is just the stochastic momentum index. Now, this should be available on most trading platforms. If not, I'm pretty sure you could probably spin up the logic and get it into your platform, okay? But that's what this indicator is. And down here is the, perhaps one of the granddaddy of all indicators is the MACD. Everybody's got this. And you can pause the video here and see how I have it configured, right? 40, 40, 3, and 5 on the SMI, and the MACD is 12, 26, and 9 as exponential, okay? Now I can see that the SMI, the stochastic momentum index, it's very low already, right? It's really down here getting towards the bottom line. And I can see that the MACD is, beginning to get ready to cross over into negative territory. All right. So am I going to place a trade right here, right now? I could, but I mean, you could, a person could, but I'm not going to do that. Because the risk is pretty high here that we don't know how much farther down this is going to go. Now, there are some suggestions here that it would be okay to short this way up here and ride this out simply because of the gap in the MACD indicator. But, that's kind of advanced stuff that most people aren't going to do too well with, looking at gaps. And I'm talking about when I say gap, I talk about this distance in the indicator. Of course, that has a lot to do with how much you spread this out, right? So you could do that, but it's probably for the beginner trader and for members, I don't really suggest that. You could do it and probably make some pretty good bank here because this is a nice little run going down here. Okay, but I'm going to show you a way that I use tried and true that's maybe a little bit counterintuitive. And the trade I would take would be up here, okay, to the short side. Now that may seem strange, but this movement right here is much more reliable. And why? Because take a look at the MACD here. This is the zero line in the MACD. So everything below this line is negative. Even with the MACD going up like this, which it crossed over right here, it's still in negative territory. Okay, I want you to get that. It's really important. This MACD, all of it down in here is negative territory. Even though it's crossed over and gone up, it's negative territory. So keep that in mind. Now, the SMI, the Stochastic Momentum Index, it begins to cross over like right here. Let's see, where exactly does that happen? It probably happens at this candlestick. Yeah. Happens on this candlestick right here, this big red one. And that's when I'm going to take this trade. I'm going to take the trade right on this red candlestick. Even at the close, which is fine. What's the close? The close is 41.50. All right. And down here at the bottom, you know, as this SMI starts approaching, in this case, the blue line starts approaching its bottom line, in this case anyway, which is right around somewhere around this, this, you can just tell by looking at this candlestick, right? I mean, you need to know your candlestick patterns. Okay, this is kind of a, it's kind of a hammerish kind of candlestick, right? It's at the bottom of a downward trend. Okay. So I would get out of this position just as this blue line starts to curl up, because I know that this is becoming exhausted. I can tell by the candlestick and I can tell by the SMI beginning to curl up. Okay, so I'm going to take advantage of, you know, pretty much these three candlesticks right here. Now, some of you are going to say, well, gosh, you mean to tell me you didn't take advantage of all of this? You could. But, you know, you have to understand it's easy to look at a chart after the fact. Everybody's going to come in here, oh, you shoulda, coulda, woulda, all this money you could have made here. But that's easy to do once it's behind us, right? The old saying, hindsight's 20/20. We want reliable trades. So this trade from 41.50 and probably somewhere right down in here, it's hard to tell exactly, you know, where exactly we'd get out here. But let's just call it 41.45. So maybe 5 points with the trading on the S&P 500 futures. Okay, and that probably translates into about 50 cents maybe on the SPY. Somewhere around there, I guess. Okay, just a spreadsheet. I've mocked up some quick calculations here, okay? Starting price is here. We're in this column, and ending price is here. It's a little bit backwards, but it doesn't really matter. We're just going to do 5 points. The difference between 5 points. I'm just going to do 1 and 6. As you can see, that's 5 points right there. And how much was it worth? $250. So on futures, 5 points translates into a lot of money, $250. So don't think that small little movement isn't decent money, because it is. Okay, let's go back to the chart. All right, so now we're back at the chart. And that could have been the only trade of the day, right? That may have been the only trade of the day. But in this case, it's not. We had another opportunity that happens over here. Now, every time we see this Getis Plus indicator give us an indication, that doesn't always mean that it's just telling us there's a high probability of a trade, but sometimes there may not be. Okay, again, it's up to the trader. But this is giving you a really good head start to, hey, look out for a possibility of a trade. Let's look at the next one right here, this one. Okay, it came in on the same day, and it came in right there. Now, this trade is much easier. It's a lot easier, okay? Now, I'm gonna explain why. It's easier than the last trade where we had to wait for the price action to develop to be more reliable. In this case, it's already very reliable. Okay, so what am I talking about? Well, we got the MACD at this point right here. Okay, it's about right here is what we're talking about, right? Right up in this area. Okay, the MACD is what? Is in positive territory. It's above the purple line. This is all above the purple line. That's great, right? We're in positive territory. All right, but the SMI is very elevated. See how it's way up here? It's elevated. So would I take the trade right here? No, I wouldn't take the trade because everything's in positive territory. Right? It's all of it's very much already elevated. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for the to see if there's going to be a dip. And sure enough, there's this big, huge dip that comes in. Okay, and I know, again, people are going to say, well, you missed all of this. Yes, we did. We missed all of that. You could take the trade just based on the stochastic momentum index. You could have placed that trade. Again, we don't know that until after this all develops, right? Because in this video, we're talking about being real, not fakey stuff, looking back at things that have already developed and people go, ooh, see how this worked really great? That's people do that all the time. I could have made a lot of money here. Well, it could have is one thing. Actually making money is another thing. So I would not place this trade, despite the fact that this chart shows like there's a lot of bank being made here. You could take this trade, but it's a little bit more risky. Okay, in this video, we're talking about much more reliable trades. Now, how would I have played this? I would have waited because this is very peaky already up here in positive territory. The MACD is already in positive territory. I'm going to wait to see if it rolls over. It rolls over, it comes down. It doesn't even get to the bottom here, it bounces. And when it bounces, the MACD is still in positive territory, right? It's above this purple line, especially that white line right there, that vanilla line. But even at the time of that trade, it looks like the blue line probably was just starting to become positive. Okay. But that vanilla line, I'm talking about this line down here on the MACD, okay, that vanilla whitish looking line, it's in positive territory. Okay, so as this began to roll over as a blue line, you can wait, you can just, even as the blue line begins to curl up, you don't have to wait for it to cross over the red, but that's a little bit more safe. But as the blue line begins to curl up, okay, and you see this MACD is already in positive territory here, you can go long on this candlestick. Okay, probably most of the way up on this candlestick. Let's just, even if we took it at the close, 41.45. That's when I would place my trade, not over here. This told me there's a trade coming, and as a trader, I'm waiting for the highest probability for a great entry. We want great entries. We want great entries. We want to take advantage of the opportunities to make maximum profitability, and we want to minimize, we're talking minuscule losses, right? So at 41.45, I believe it was, and you could write it out pretty much because this stayed pretty tried and true, right? It started to gap, talk about the gaps here in the SMI, just nice, gets all the way up to here. As soon as it starts to roll over, which really would be like this green candlestick right here, maybe this red one. You could tell by the SMI beginning to get a little weak. I'm exiting. Okay, so 41.45, even if we got out right here at 41.55, which was the close, that's 10 points. Okay, nice ride. Okay, let's go back over the spreadsheet. Okay, so here we are on the spreadsheet. We had 5 earlier, and we're going to add 10, so now we got 15. Now we're at $750 for the day. Okay, back to the spreadsheet. Back to the chart. Okay, in this particular case, right here is the end of the intraday. And, I didn't mention this in the beginning of the video, but we're just really interested in pre-market and intraday. So, pre-market 6, 7 a.m., okay, somewhere in this area, all the way through close to about, the futures close at 4 o'clock. I'm in Texas Central Time. Okay, so they close somewhere like, let's see, what is this, 3? Yeah, they close right here. All right, so that's what we're really interested in is intraday, pre-market, 6 or 7 in the morning, all the way through 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, and you can tell just based on this one day, we made $750 by being patient. As I said, you can't always tell there's going to be big moves. So you want to take the trades that are reliable trades. Let's go to another day. Let's just scroll forward to all the way. This is the day before quad witching. Quad witching was, that day right there. Very busy day. Okay, we can look at that day too. That's fine. So this is the day before the quad witching is. I don't really like that phrase, but it's the quarterly expirations of everything. This is the day before. This will be Thursday. All right, here we are. We're at pre-market, and this is about what, 8:30 in the morning, 8:15 in the morning. This comes on, the Getis Plus indicator shows up with something right here. All right. Now, it's telling us once again, Getis Plus indicator is telling us once again that, hey, there's probability of a trade here. All right, am I going to place a trade immediately? No, I'm going to wait a little bit. This is very elevated, but what's really cool about this trade is everything is already primed for us, guys and gals. This is much easier trade. Sometimes you get easy trades that are really highly identifiable. Others are a little bit more difficult. You got to be a little more patient, wait for them to develop, okay? But in this case, the MACD is already in positive territory, way positive territory right here, right? Very nice. So I'm going to wait to see if does this curl over, and it did. It curled over a little bit, okay? Then it had a little bounce. As soon as that sucker starts to bounce, which is about right, let me clear the screen here. It's probably about right in this area. Let's say somewhere right in here, you got a lot of confidence. Probably like right here, you can see it starting to curl back up. Probably this candlestick right there. Okay, even if we were really patient, waited at 44.16 for that to close. All right, so from right there, and we ride it all the way up to the top of this. Okay, so where's that? Starts to curl over about right here. And this was 44, 36, so 16 to 36, 20 points. Okay, so here we are. I'm just going to put this at 21 to give us 20 points. Whoops, I made a mistake here. Overwrote the calculation, my bad. We're just looking for 20 points. That's what we're looking for right there, 20 points. $1,000, guys. That's just one contract, one E-mini contract, $1,000. Okay, back to the chart. So that's how I would trade that. Okay, so I hope members, as you're watching this video, just hang in there. Don't close the video and run off, or pause and come back later if you got to go do what you got to do. But this is basically a lesson for you to become a much better trader, and how, especially as members, how to use the Getis Plus indicator with the other two indicators that I'm showing you here. Okay. All right, let's move on to the last day. I don't know if I really like showing the quad witching day because it's kind of predictable that you almost always get price to decline at the end of the day in quad witching, but we'll go through it anyway. It's still a useful exercise. Let's talk about this particular one right here at 6:35 in the morning. Guys and gals, to be a successful trader, sometimes you got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's what you got to do, because sometimes pre-market is going to have a lot of opportunity. All right, so let's take a look at this one at 6:35, the last day, the day of options expirations and futures expirations, and everything that could possibly expired on this day, right? Last Friday. So here we are. We get this signal here on the charts, which, by the way, as I mentioned earlier, the members get this chart streamed, the 5-minute, the 15-minute, and the 1-hour stream 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, and they get alerted on the Discord server. And I'll show you that here as we finish up the video in a little bit. Okay, so again, would I take the trade immediately right here? No, I wouldn't, because this is very peaky. I can see the SMI is way up here and peak. How do I know that? It's above this top line, the plus 40. See this plus 40 over here? It's above the top line, so I'm not going to take a trade right now. What's the MACD doing? If I just draw straight down, the MACD is in positive territory. Ah, that's really nice. That makes this is, again, one of those trades that can be really easy to place, but we have to see how it develops. Let's see, how did it develop? So I wait for it to curl over, comes all the way down, it gets a little bounce, and I see the MACD is still in positive territory. This is go time, right up in here. Okay, so where is that? It's about right here on this candlestick. Everything is telling us go long. Okay, so that is what, 44.75. And you can run that all the way to the top up here like I've been talking about. And it starts kind of fading and running out of gas. You can see the SMI. Because remember, the MACD is still all positive, right? Everything's above the purple line. You want to keep an eye on that. It's positive territory. So now we're just paying attention to this SMI. The Getis Plus indicator told us when to be ready for a trade. And then we use the other two indicators to actually time the trade for entry and exit. Makes sense? So this, I could see this start to curl over somewhere in this area, kind of run out of gas. Let's see, where exactly? Yeah, right on this red candlestick. I'm getting out 44.82, okay? So I got in somewhere right around there. 75 to 82 is about 7 points. Okay, and as I'm not going to go back to the spreadsheet because as you can tell, even 5 and 7 point movements are big money, significant money on the ES contracts, right? I'm going to go with this one right over here. The MACD's in negative territory. It's below this purple line. What I'm waiting for is way over here. So this is like, it's like 2 or 3 hours later. Yeah, let's see, 1:30 happens about an hour and a half later, maybe an hour and 45 minutes later. That's what we're really waiting for this to develop. Okay, it'd be like international traders at this time of day, but it doesn't really matter. Forget about the time of day. Just realize that this could work at any time, this setup that I'm going to show you right here. The MACD is in negative territory. Okay, and especially that vanilla line. Let me see if I can spread this out a little bit. Especially the whitish vanilla line right there. It's negative. Stayed in negative territory. So when this curled over right here, somewhere like right in this area right here, say maybe like right on that candlestick, 41.14, call it 41.15. All right. And then we write it all the way down to what? To the bottom. You know, and you just wait. I mean, you could even get out when it crosses over this 40 line if you just want to be super safe. So that ran from 41.14 down to, let's see, when did it hit? Somewhere like right in there. You know, maybe one of these two candlesticks you get out. This was 41.12, let's call it. This one was 41.09. So anywhere from 2 to about 5 points. We're going to average that out to about 3 or 4 points, probably what you would have picked up right here in this particular case. Okay, again, as you've seen on the spreadsheet, that's pretty decent money. All right, so I just wanted to show how you would place a short side trade, right? The MACD is in negative territory and the SMI rolls over. That's what you place a short side trade, okay? Now, members already know this, but just going to quickly finish up the video. This is the Discord server, okay? And this is where all the services take place for the members. So for new members, maybe as well, that may not really know everything yet, this is the S&P 500 alerts channel. So what you want to do is you want to pay attention to this channel based on everything I just showed you in this video, right? So you right click on this, you come notifications, you click all messages. Now, you can see here that, you know, on Friday, which was the quad witching last day of expirations, these are all the alerts that came in. Most of them were the 5-minute alerts. And there was a 5-minute chart, in other words, and there was a 15-minute alert that came in too. So for those that want to, remember I talked about the streaming charts that members get 5, 15-minute, 1 hour. Now we only looked at the 5-minute chart here because I know a lot of traders want to trade intraday stuff, and I do too sometimes. So this is where the alerts would come in. So if you got your little mobile app or you're on a desktop or laptop, whatever you're on, you're going to get alerted. You know, I just showed you how to set the alerts on there, right? Right. So if you like, you know, for those that want to become members and you're interested in what you're seeing in this video, okay, click on the link in the first comment of this video on YouTube. It's going to be the top link pinned to the top. It's going to bring you over to the Getis Discord server. This is where all the services take place for the members. You're going to click on this server subscriptions. Okay, you're going to get this webpage right here. $7.99 a month. Okay, you get everything I just talked about. I didn't even talk about these other alerts in here. There's gold for those who want to trade commodities. There's crude oil. There's the top 30 stocks. The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ are in there. So the alerts come up into this channel for them. You can't quite see it here, but this says daily only alerts. That's for those people that want to do swing trades. That'll be daily only alerts. Okay, so you get everything you're seeing here. Plus there's some premium symbols, all right? And I'll talk about that here in a second. All right, so in addition to everything you already saw, you get everything that you see here on this screen. Okay, you get the streaming charts, that 5-minute, 15-minute, and 1 hour. You get the alerts like I talked about, plus the daily alerts here, right? Daily alerts. It's a wacky looking D, but daily alerts. Top 30 stocks at S&P 500 and NASDAQ. Okay, again, those are 5-minute, 15-minute, 1 hour alerts that come in on that channel. You get the premium symbols. This is my algorithm, which uses the same, by the way, it uses the same Getis Plus logic. Okay, this is for daily now. Premium symbols come in every day for futures, optionable stocks, industries. So you want to see money flow moving in and out of industries? Well, there's a file. These are files. Each of these are files that get dropped into that premium symbols channel. Okay, and then shortable stocks or shortable symbols. Okay, and then for members, new members, welcome. Got a lot of new members. Welcome new members, or those that think about becoming a new member. When you become a new member, make sure you drop your email address into the email only channel on the Discord server. And then every night I send out an email with the S&P 500 chart, and I mock it up usually. Sometimes I don't, but usually I mock it up and I give my comments about what I think the market's going to do. And then of course, YouTube videos like I'm doing now, that's for everybody. Okay, so I hope everybody really enjoyed the videos. I know it's kind of long, but I really wanted to share with the members on how I go about using my indicators to really make solid trades. Okay, go back, watch the video again, pause in the areas. If you're not sure, look at what I talked about, go over it again. It's going to make sure that you're highly, highly profitable. Okay, happy trading, everybody. We'll talk to you all real soon again next time.